And my question for you tonight is, have you ever been a part of something? Have you ever been a part of something where you felt like someone didn't deserve like what they got? Now what I mean is this. What I mean is that, and I'm going to tell this story, and a lot of you already know it, but it just fits so well. Whenever I was in high school, I was in chorus. Some of you know where I'm going. When I was in chorus, who can remember the name of the guy? Moose. There's a guy named Marcus Moose. We were both going out for the Aladdin part of A Whole New World in our song. We were going for it. I was pretty pumped. I put a lot of work in. My mic is going out, so just cut it off. And I sound up here like... So I'm just going to be louder. All right. So, Marcus Moose, me, both of them, we were going against each other, and I practiced a lot. I sang better than Marcus Moose. I was more dedicated than Marcus Moose. And Marcus Moose was not worthy of the spot of singing the male part in The Whole New World. And so, whenever the time came for us to be assigned parts, they came up and who got the part? You! No! Marcus Moose got the part. Marcus Moose, that guy. He doesn't even know, like we talked about before, he doesn't even know that I was mad about it. But have you ever felt like someone wasn't worthy of something? That was a moment in my life where I looked at Marcus Moose and I was like, you are not worthy to sing the part in Aladdin. I watched that movie at least 25 times in preparation, not counting my life before that and watching it. I was so pumped about that movie, and then about the song, and then about the part, and I didn't get it. And you know, there's this time, all of us probably felt this at some point in time. Someone got something that you weren't getting. And so you felt like, what in the world is the deal? Why? Why are they getting this? Tonight we're going to be looking at Luke 15. Actually, we're going to be reading the whole chapter tonight. And we're going to be talking about a situation kind of like this, where some people felt like, man, these people aren't worthy of the treatment they're getting. So if you have your Bibles, you can feel free to turn to Luke chapter 15. If not, that's quite all right. We're going to have it up on the screen behind me here, and we're going to read through it, and we're going to talk about it. First, do you want to turn this way and burp? Oh, all right, I feel better now. I'm sorry. I know, right? I probably could just turn around and you never would know, but I like being honest with you guys.
At least you didn't have your microphone.
And I didn't have my microphone on. It worked out well. All right. So here we go. Starting with verse 1. You ready back there? All right. Luke 15, verse 1. Tax collectors and other notorious sinners often came to listen to Jesus teach. This made the Pharisees and teachers of religious law complain that he was associating with such sinful people, even eating with them. Okay? In their mind, in the Pharisees and the religious teachers, in their mind, these people did not deserve the chance to sit down with Jesus and eat. They did not deserve the chance to get to conversate with him, to get to have a meal, to get his personal time. These were the thugs. These were the lowlifes. These were the sinners. These were the people who cheated them out of their money. And yet, this great teacher, this prophet, as they felt, some even thought knew to be the Messiah, was spending a lot of his time with these lowlifes. Okay? And this made them mad. Kind of like me and Marcus Moose. This was a moment they felt like they were not worthy of Jesus' time. Why was he getting it? Why was he giving them this time? And so, Jesus feels this because Jesus is all-knowing. And he's like, okay, well, we'll just address this issue right now. Starting in verse 3, he says, so Jesus told them this story. If a man has 100 sheep and one of them gets lost, what will he do? Won't he leave the 99 others in the wilderness and go and search for the one that is lost until he finds it? Now, this analogy for back in that time would have been, once again, you're talking about kind of a lower class of society. You're talking about the shepherds, the dirty, nasty people who live with the sheep and take care of the sheep. Okay, and so let's talk about this story. You have 99 sheep. You're keeping up 99 sheep. And then you have one dumb, idiotic little sheep who decides he's going to run off and do his own thing. You have 99 that are doing what they're supposed to. Now, a lot of us would look at this situation and we'd be like, serves the sheep right. I hope a lion gets them. You know, it's like we have 99 other sheep. And there's one sheep that decides to be very dumb and take off on its own, to run away. Okay? And for me, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Why? Why would you leave all the other sheep for the one sheep? And the reason is because of the worth of the one sheep. It's because of the love that they have for that one sheep. The shepherd is in charge of his flock. Not just part of it, not just the good folks, not just the smart sheep, the dumb sheep, all the sheep, they are his. And the shepherd's like, okay, I'm going to take care of my entire flock. So he takes off after it. Verse 5, and when he had found it, he will joyfully carry it home on his shoulders. When he arrives, he will call together his friends and neighbors, saying, rejoice with me, because I have found my lost sheep. In the same way, there is more joy in heaven over one lost sinner who repents and returns to God than over 99 others who are righteous and haven't strayed away. So Jesus is sitting there, he gives them a story, which Jesus is awesome about, giving this parable. And he's like, this is why. Because I'm working with the down and out. I'm working with the low lives. They're the ones who need me. They need me to go after them. And the people aren't getting it. And Jesus is kind enough to oblige them with another story. Verse 8, he says, or suppose a woman has 10 silver coins and loses one. Won't she light a lamp and sweep the entire house and search carefully until she finds it? So what's happening here? We have I'm guessing old woman. I don't know why. Maybe it's a young woman, but I always picture like an old woman. So an old woman has a coin collection. She does, and she has 10. I don't know how if this is really great or not. She has 10 coins. She's got a huge number here. And she loses one. Old lady probably knocked it off. And she's lost her one coin. That's not how old ladies sound, but you know. Anyway, so don't judge me. Anyway. So she drops this coin, and now it's like frantic to find the coin. 9 are here, 1 is missing. She's turning the house upside down. She's flipping over. If me, I would just go look in the couch cushions because that's where I find coins anyway, right? But no, she's flipping over everything. She's trying to find it. She's looking for it. Okay? Until she finally finds it. She sweeps the entire house. I don't know how big her house was. Maybe that was a chore, maybe it wasn't. But she goes over everything. She finally finds it, and then she says in verse 9, and when she finds it, she will call in her friends and neighbors and say, rejoice! Which I'm thinking, like, really? 1 coin? Anyway. Rejoice with me because I have found my lost coin. In the same way, there is joy in the presence of God's angels when even one sinner repents. Now, if you ever think about that story, I look at it and I'm like, what? She has 9 coins. She has 10 coins. She loses 1. She's down to 9. She finds the 10th coin. Woo! Hooray! Calls friends over. Hey, let's have a party. I found the 1 coin. She's probably going to have to spend some other coins to have a party for the 1 coin she's found. I don't understand that. You're looking at, and that's kind of what the world would go. We'd be like, what? Why? Why do you care? Why do you care about if I dropped 1 penny and I had 99 other pennies? Why would you care? Because the worth of the one is enough. The worth of the individual, no matter how bad or how lost or how far away, is enough. You know, and I sit there and I imagine listening to this story from the outside if I was like a Pharisee. And I would think, okay, the first one's talking about dumb sheep. Really can't relate with that. Although, if you notice in the Bible, dumb sheep are how we are referred to a lot by God and Jesus. Like, oh, you're like sheep. Oh. But, anyway, so they're like, we can't really relate with dumb sheep. And then like, okay, coins. That's an inanimate object. What do we care about? Jesus sees this, Jesus feels this, and he goes, okay, I got another story for you. Let's make this a little more personal. All right, and then Jesus says this. Okay, verse 11. To illustrate his point further, because they just wasn't getting it, Jesus told them this story. A man had 2 sons. Probably heard this one before. The younger son told his father, I want my share of the estate now before you die. Kind of harsh. Come on, Dad. You're too healthy.
You're too healthy. I want your money now. So give me your money. That's what he does. So his father agreed to divide his wealth between the sons. A few days later, his younger son packs up all his belongings and moved to Las Vegas or Disneyland. All right? There, he wasted all of his money in wild living. About the time that his money ran out, a great famine swept over the land, and he began to starve. He persuaded a local farmer to hire him, and the man sent him into the field to feed the pigs. The young man became so hungry that even the pods he was feeding the pigs, the scum he was feeding the pigs, the leftover nastiness that's in the bucket for 3 days feeding to the pigs, looked good to him. Just want to make that an adequate picture. All right? But no one gave him anything because in his contract to work there it said you can't eat the pig slop. Okay. Shrewd guy. When he finally came to his senses, he said to himself, at home, even the hired servants have enough to spare, and I am here dying of hunger. So he comes to his senses. Somewhere along this process, he is like slopping out the pig stuff, like, oh, all right. You know, if you've ever been around pigs, they're not clean animals. And he's sitting there and he's looking at the food, and he's looking at, the leftover pizza from a week and a half ago. He's looking at the bad macaroni. He's looking at all this stuff in the things the pigs are eating, and he's like, it's looking good. I think I could eat it. And then he's like, wait a minute. My dad's workers, his servants, the lowest people on his paid staff have ample food. They have plenty of food. He starts realizing his mistake. He realizes, man, I screwed this up bad. And he starts thinking, okay, you know what? My worth is shot. I am no longer worthy. I am no longer worthy to be his son, okay? And so he starts coming up with his speech, what he's going to say. Have you ever gotten in trouble and you knew like the trouble was coming? Like maybe it's like your mom gets on you, your dad gets on you, like, go to your room, we'll come talk in a second. And you have that moment of time when you're like, okay, what am I going to say? You start bracing yourself. I had the same moment whenever we accidentally, we didn't tie down the mattress that was in the back of our truck. And then we drove with it. And it blew out. And then it got ran over by a dump truck. And then we had a little bit of time before my father arrived. And first off, we tried to hide it. Didn't work. He found out. And then, we're ready for the story. Like, oh, well, we jammed it in there pretty good. And it's the first time I ever took a mattress anywhere. And I'm a young kid. I'm young. I'm dumb. Come on. I got your brains, Dad. Come on. You can't, and you're trying to figure it out, right? And it made me, I did not say that, by the way. I thought all that, did not say it. But we do that. Whenever we mess up, we plan what we're going to say to God. We plan what we're going to say to our parents. We're like, okay, let me rehearse my speech. Okay, so verse 18 says this. It says, I will go home to my father. This is him practicing, I guess, to the pigs. I don't know. He's like, all right, pigs, listen up. I'm going to go home to my father and say, Father, I have sinned against both you and heaven, and I am no longer worthy of being called your son. Please take me on as a hired servant. So he returns home to his father. And while he was still a long way off, his father saw him coming. Filled with love and compassion, he ran to his son, embraced him, and kissed him. Now there's three things that really stand out in this little thing. First thing is that, man, the food was great tonight. I'm sorry. All right. The first thing was that his father, voice break. His father was looking for him. His no good, lousy son who took half of his money and ran off to do whatever these bad things were, ran off. He is looking for him. He is waiting for him to turn around and come back. It's not like he's coming off in the distance and, the son gets all the way to the house and is like, bing bong. And the dad opens the door like, oh, you're back. No, that's not what's going on. First off, they didn't have doorbells. But second thing, probably not porches either. But the second thing is that he was looking. He was there. He wasn't he wasn't just living his life. That's not what he was doing. Listen up. That's not what he was doing. He was anxiously awaiting and looking for his son to return. The second thing is that his father ran to him. Okay, it's awesome enough that his father's looking for him. The second thing, in this culture, in this time, whenever Jesus would have said, and his father ran to him, the crowd would have went like, oh, because you didn't do that. In the culture, in the Middle Eastern culture of this time, you didn't run for anything unless like a bear was coming or a lion. You didn't run. It was not proper for men to get up and run. And so what is the running meaning? It means that, man, his father really loved him. His father was so excited for him to be back. His father felt like he couldn't wait any longer. As soon as he saw him, he got up and he ran to him. And so you have the first part where he's looking for him. The second part, he gets up and runs. And then the third part is that he embraces him. How many of you have ever been mad at someone? Right? Generally when you're mad, good, everyone. I was hoping everybody would raise their hand. Whenever you're mad at someone, generally what you do not do is give them a hug. Right? You're not like, dude, you totally stole the money out of my wallet. Come here. No. Whenever you're mad, whenever you're upset, whenever you have a grievance with someone, generally physical contact is kind of like, oh, well done, we're not breaking this boundary. And yet his father runs up, hugs him, embraces him. What is this saying? What is this showing? This is showing his father has already forgiven him. He comes in from this horrible mistake, and his father is already hugging him, and he's kissing him, and it's kind of interesting. So, like, he gets to this point, his father loves him, he's showing this, and then verse 21 says, the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against both heaven and you, and I'm no longer worthy of being called your son. So he's going through his speech, he's giving it, but the father said to his servants, quick, bring the finest robe in the house and put it on him. Get a ring for his finger and sandals for his feet, and kill the calf we have been fattening. We must celebrate with a feast, for the son of mine was dead and has now returned to life. He was lost, but now he is found. And so the party began. So what happens? He's sitting there. You know what? My first thought was, if I'm coming home, I did something really stupid. I'm coming home, and I know my father's going to be angry. And I walk up and I see my father, I see like in the distance, something is coming towards me. All right? And then I'm a little bit concerned because this something is running. And remember, people don't run in this time. So I wonder if he's thinking like, oh man, he's really mad if he's going to run out to meet me. Maybe he's going to run out to kill me. Maybe he's going to run out. I don't know what he's doing. But he's running to me. And his father finally gets there to him. He gives him a big old, I'm assuming like a big bear hug, right? Like, and then the father's kissing him, which we really don't do nowadays, but that's okay. That's common in that place. And his father's kissing him. So can you just imagine he's trying to give this talk? And he's like, Father, Dad, I've tried to sin against you, Dad. Father! He's just pushing away. He's like, okay, just calm down. I'm trying to tell you that I know I'm worth nothing now. I know I'm messed up, and there's nothing I can do. I can only be your servant. I'm not worthy of your name. That's what he's trying. He's like, Dad, stop loving me. Let me explain why I'm awful. Let me explain why I'm bad. You know what's interesting about this? You know, for most of you know, and me and Teresa are going to be having a kid sometime in the next 3 weeks. Won't be past the 15th, by the way, because that's when we're going to get induced if she hasn't come yet. But we're going to have a little Isabella and little Izzy. Can you imagine if one day Izzy, we're eating at the table, we'll say maybe 5 years old, and she looks up at me and maybe she'll be like, Dad, because that's how she's going to talk. Dad. I'm going to be like, why are you talking like that? No. If she goes, Dad, little baby, I have finally done it. And I imagine it, I'll be like, done what? If she's like, I've finally earned the name of Caldwell. Yep. Today I was able to spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I have earned the right to be called Caldwell.
Jack, can you do that?
No, it'd be on my other side. And you know what I would say to that? My response to her would be this: you can't earn the right to be called Caldwell. You were born with it.
Oh, I thought you were.
Okay? No, just get down. You can never earn it. You know, it's interesting, actually. It's actually very interesting. Listen up.
Like, I didn't see it as a me person, but when you started that sentence, I was like, oh, jeez.
I'm very mean. Y'all just don't know. Okay, so I kind of like this point here. Because what we do in our society, what's culturally accepted, is that you get what you earn. That's what in culture. That's what America says. If you want to be something, you have to earn it. If you want to do something, you have to earn it. If you want my respect, you have to earn it. And we take this philosophy and we try to put it on God. We go, okay, God, I've messed up. I've made mistakes. And don't worry, I'm going to be good. I'm going to earn my love back. And God's sitting here going, shut up. Yes, God may say that to you. That's what He said. Did you notice? The Father didn't even acknowledge what His Son was saying. He was so excited and so happy and so just enthused about His Son being back that He went ahead and said, hey, get on out here. We've got to bless this child. We got to make sure they know we're loved. See, what we do is we have two sides of this coin to work at. There's times whenever we feel like we are so worthy. I deserve everything. I've worked so hard. And Jesus is basically saying, no. You cannot earn it. You cannot earn God's love. On the other side, when we make mistakes, I've met people where they go, man, you know what? If I went into church, it would fall down on me. I have to make sure that I'm right before I come back. I can't come back to small group because you know what? I'm in a bad relationship right now and I'm doing things I shouldn't. And within this relationship, I have to wait till I get it right before I can come to you, God. In this parable, Jesus is saying that is not the case. You don't have to earn God's love. You don't have to work up at it. You don't have to make sure that you get enough prayers in, you read enough chapters of your Bible. All you got to do is accept it. You got to turn, you got to come home. And so many times we look in our lives and we go, okay, you know what, God? I'm almost good enough. I've almost done enough good things to where you can love me, you can accept me, to where I'm worthy of your love. And God just laughs. There's nothing you can do to make yourself worthy. You were made worthy. And I say this to you tonight because I know a lot of us struggle with self-worth. Am I important? Do people find me special? Do I have gifts? Do I have abilities? Am I better than someone else at something? And God goes, no, you are worthy. You yourself are worthy enough that I'll leave 99 other jokers over here to go find you. And that's what God is doing for us. He's looking for us. He's finding us. And He's saying, you don't have to do anything other than turn back and come home. Turn back to me. Most of you know how I came to know Christ. I was a church kid. I faked it whenever I was 8 years old. And everyone thought I was a Christian, but I wasn't. And there was a point around 13 or 14 years old, I knew that I wasn't, I didn't accept Christ. I wasn't living for Him. But I orchestrated a plan in my mind that if I was good enough, if I did enough good things, then God could not turn me away. Then God would have to accept me. I would definitely be worthy. So what did I do? I led Bible studies at my school. I sang in the church choir. I did drama ministry. I was generally, most of the time, nice. I didn't use curse words. I was sitting there, I was stacking it up. And I was putting all these things like, oh, that's a good thing, that's a good thing. All right, good. I got to build up. Surely I'm worthy enough. And no, none of that helped me be worthy. I was made worthy. And when I was 17, that's when I realized it. I realized, okay, God, I'm giving my life over to you. Jesus, give him a life over to you. Some people don't like it when you bring up is like that you don't have to do things to accept Christ and to become a follower of Christ. It's like, no, it's what you got to know is that is the important thing, is that there's nothing you can do except accept him. And then you're in. Not you're in like I'm in, I'm done, I can go live my life. It's like that worth that you worry about. You are worthy. You were made worthy. You just have to choose to pick up the gift. That acceptance of Jesus. And so, I guess what I want to leave you with tonight is we're about to have a long time of worship. We're going to have 4 songs straight, and it's going to be a great time for all of us. And I want you to take this time to think about the question. Two parts of this. One, do you know you're worthy? Do you know that, man, I got to remember to mute my computer. Do you know that you are worthy of God's love already, right now, without 25 prayers, without making sure that you sing the song, exactly right. You are worthy right now. Do you know your worth? And then the second half of that is, are you being like a Pharisee? Are you being like the religious teachers? Are you going, okay, I'm definitely worthy, but all those other people aren't? Because we're not supposed to sit on the sidelines and then, not go looking for a lost coin. We're not supposed to sit on the sidelines and not look at that lost sheep and go, okay, let's help that sheep be found. We're supposed to get out there. We're supposed to be turning over couches and chairs looking for a coin. We're supposed to be going out and reaching that dumb sheep who left the whole group. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So do you know your worth? Do you know that you're worthy? During this first song, and I want the band to go ahead and start coming up. During this first song, I want you to think about it. It's a newer song. You may or may not know it. But I want you to think about these things. This altar is open if you want to come up and pray at it. You don't have to. You're welcome to. But I want you to know that you are loved and you are worthy. Will you bow your heads with me? Father God, I thank you for this day, and I thank you for creating us. I thank you for making us worthy. I thank you for not making it where we have to earn it, to where we have to do so many things, God, but that you loved us enough that while we were yet sinners, while we were still making mistakes, before we decided to turn to you, that you decided to die for us, to bridge that gap. God, I thank you for that sacrifice. I thank you for bridging the gap so that we could be with you. God, I pray that tonight in this time of worship as we're singing these songs, that we don't just sing them because they're up there, God, but that we hear what we're saying, that we believe what we're saying, and that we give you honor and glory. God, I pray that you help give us courage to step out and reach out to the ones who are lost. That we reach out, we find that coin, that we find the sheep. That we welcome that person who finally turns around and comes back with open arms, and that we show them love. God, I thank you for everyone in here, and I thank you for the life you've given me, the life you've given them. Help us to always know that we are worthy because you have made us worthy.